today's session is about homeopathic approach to OCD, that is obsessive compulsive disorder in pediatrics. Mind is key to man. This is what was told by Hahnemann. Now, this statement by Hahnemann is such a beautiful statement that are now in this era, we are all believing, and lot of research has been done and told that mind really controls a man. Mind, but what if this very key, that is mind, gets damaged, faulty or rusty? Then what do we do? Especially it is very difficult when it affects children, or it is creates problem in pediatric group. So today I am presenting in front of you a case of a boy who came to me for this disease. When usually the biggest challenge we face in OCD is we humans or we adults always consider kids as like we feel that there's nothing wrong in their life and they are having a beautiful life. They get to eat, they get to play, they are so relaxed, they have got everything for them. Then why is that, like why are they behaving like this? Many a times we find it very difficult actually to even believe that they can have mental illnesses. And that is a biggest challenge. And that's why when it comes to kids or pediatric group, we doctors find it very challenging to deal, because you're not dealing only with the child, but you're dealing with the family as such. So this case will actually throw a lot of light onto what to do when you have pediatric group kids coming to you for mental illnesses. Now, this is a very beautiful case and a very striking case and a beautiful case in my career, because I learned a lot from this case. I learned to manage and learn to actually so many things from this case. So I'd like to share it with you. Now, a boy who was just 14 years old was brought to me my clinic with the chief complaints of repeating the same thing again and again. Like same actions, like washing his hands or going to toilet, it keeps taking long time in the toilet. He kept doing it umpteen number of times. Now, if scolded or reprimanded, he used to get very upset and sad. When asked, why are you repeating or why are you doing the same actions again and again, the answer he used to tell is, it tells me to do it. And if I don't do it, then something bad is going to happen to my family. Just imagine a child of 14 years old going through such condition and how you are going to go about with it. Now, it all started 6 months back. The parents approached telling that, doctor, just see whether you can kick some sense into my boy. This was literally the words which the father used to me. Kick some sense into my boy. Now, the parents actually don't remember the reason why and how this complaint started. He belongs to a middle class family and stays with his mother, father, a smart and intelligent sister, and a paternal grandmother. He was a very social, responsible, and obedient son till then. He always obeyed his elders, was good in studies. Now, his mother was a teacher in the school and he was studying in the same school. Now, he never had issues with his mother or father or with the sister or with the grandmother. Just started presenting with these symptoms. They are not able to exactly give me how and when all this started coming about. The father was a government employee. He started first by taking unusually long time to get up from the bed. Now, he used to get up from the bed. He had a particular position in which he can get up, and he'll get up, then again he'll lie down. Then again, if he's not satisfied, he'll again get up, then lie down, and it is to take nearly half an hour to 45 minutes to just get up from the bed. Now, he used to repeat this process many times. So the same thing happened with the bath, with the daily routine. He told he used to feel tempted to do things again which he feels was not needed. Now that is very important. The child feels, he knows that it's not needed, but he is not able to stop it and he wants to do it. Now, because of this repeated behavior, he started becoming late and he started having so many problems. Literally, his father used to beat him up. You can't believe their routine used to start. Both the parents being working, the mother has to reach the school at 8 o'clock. Now, this son has to get up at least at 6 o'clock to get ready by 8 o'clock. And his elder sister was also studying in the same school. So what used to happen is that by 7:45 everybody has to leave the home to reach to the school. The father has to leave the full family to the school, then only he can go for his job. A morning, he used to get up at 6 o'clock also. He never used to be ready. At last, by 7:30, 7:45, when everybody used to be ready, the father used to go and drop off his wife and his daughter, come back for the son because he wanted to go to toilet and he'll take at least half an hour to 45 minutes to come out of there. Then the father is to come back again and is to take. It started becoming very frustrating for the family, and they literally started beating him very badly. And even when he got out from the class, so entering the school also he used to miss periods. And once he got, and when the bell rang and everybody used to rush. But this boy used to take again 45 minutes in his classroom. He used to be the last to leave the class. Now, what his mother, being a teacher, used to wait down. What he'll do is that he'll take a book, keep it inside the bag, then the second one, then the third one, then again remove the one book, then second. Because his mind used to tell that he has to keep it again. And he used to do this process till his mind tells that, okay, now it's fair. Even if he does not do it and he knows it's wrong and he should not, does not want to do it also, mind used to tell, if you don't do it, it's not, something bad is going to happen and you're supposed to do. Now, once entering the house, he used to again spend a lot of time in keeping his shoes in a proper order. Remove the shoes, keep in order, then again place him and again remove and again keep, like that. Now he started getting good beatings from his father and mother. His grandmother used to give him abuses. You are a waste. You are not good for anything. You are wasting so much of time. So he suffered a lot in their hands. Slowly, all the activities started getting affected, and the house started turning into a chaos. Now, he was labeled, just listen this word, he was labeled by his parents lazy and irresponsible. He was frequently scolded and beaten by father and other family members. Now, when this behavior set in, he became reserved. A joyful boy who was very social became reserved, stopped meeting people, avoided gatherings, started brooding about his condition. He reduced talking to others like his friends, teachers, sister, cousin, etc. Now he was, the biggest issue we even which I noticed in my clinic right in front of my eye was that the family usually started like this. See, he's doing this, he's doing that. His sister is entirely different. She is so intelligent. She organizes everything so well. She takes care of herself. She's always on time. She's never late. She gets up early, and a lot of praise going to the daughter. Whenever they used to praise the daughter, which was happening right in front of my eye, he used to bend his head and used to look down, and used to be feeling very bad and sad and dejected. Now this kept on happening, and he developed inferiority complex. That is, he is good for nothing. And as I told you, it happened right in front of my eye too. Now his studies started getting affected. He had to read the same paragraph again and again and again. Again the same line, again the same line, because until unless his mind tells it's okay, till that time he has to repeat it. Now he didn't wanted to study because of that. He used to study only when forced, like, why are you not going to study? Please sit and study. So that was a kind of effect which parents used to put on him because they don't know what to do. Now he early used to love studying and now didn't want to, and asked, he told, I just don't want to. Now, during the case taking, he was constantly asking whether he will be all right. He was asking me the same question again and again. Doctor, do you think I'm going to be all right? Do you think, what should I do? Do you think I'm good? And when he was asking me this, the mother used to tell me that he asked the same questions to me again and again too. He constantly talked about his thoughts, that many thoughts kept coming on and told him to do things. And if he was not doing, they used to, these thoughts used to tell that something bad is going to happen to you and your family. Now, these thoughts were so persistent, and he has to act on them. And he used to feel relaxed only if he acted according to the thoughts. He used to talk to himself and also called out his own names again and again. Like just out of somewhere, they used to hear him call out his name. Now, he was a very religious boy, so religious, praying every day, get up, going, praying, again going to the puja room, going and praying, and then evening. He used to keep on praying, and he's a very religious boy. He used to spend lot amount of time in the puja room. Now, the other symptoms which I got were stool was difficult to pass, urging was present, but not satisfied after passing. And he had hair fall since 4 months. There was no scaling, no itching, or no other symptoms related to the hair were present. Past history, when I saw, is he had skin complaints of a dry, cracked skin with itching and bleeding on toes when he was 12 years old. It lasted for 8 months, and they applied many allopathic creams and took some medicines for some same time, after which it reduced. Occasionally itching. When approached me, his skin seemed normal. When he had come to me, his skin seemed normal. The family history was that his paternal grandmother had diabetes and has diabetes and hypertension, and grandfather expired due to age. No other specific family history was obtained. Now, these are some of the writings of the boy himself. So, he just see this. My thoughts. Exam time. Fast writing negative thoughts like failure, problems, etc. That is to get negative thoughts that you're going to fail. What is there's no point in studying, there's no point in writing. And his thoughts used to get broken. So he could not perform well. His marks had come down. So he was literally failing. Then fear in doing things, because after performance, he has written means performance. He was having fear in doing things, and after performance, he has written that in Malayalam, that is Kuttabodham Tonum, means he feels guilty. Now, rituals performed during exams, like doing things 3 or 2 times, food, etc. Attempting to do things that feel to me as not needed. It says to me to do things that takes a lot of time, while bathing, washing hands. It says to me to do things compulsory. Then only we can do other things, like postponing, playing games or something. I always ask, he has written there him. I always ask him, and he's crossed it, mind, to give answer, but it takes a lot of time for reply. Sometimes I feel like exceeding the limits. Now, these are the above words, whichever that was actually written by the patient himself. He used to bring me these chits, and he used to give to me because he used to feel that he is not able to tell or can't share properly. And if when I used to see the chits, I used to talk to him then and counsel him. Now, if you see these chits, there is something which you can realize. Like, he speaks of his mind as a second person. Like, he says his mind as it says, like as if somebody else is saying him to do. No, he talks about his compulsions and rituals. He himself tells about the rituals which he is forced by his mind to do. Now, he fears doing things which his mind tells out of fear, that later feels guilty. Now, negative thoughts discouraging him appear while exams. Attempting to do things which are not needed feels like exceeding limit. This line shows us the patient has good insight of his disease. Normally, whenever we treat OCD cases, I've treated few OCD cases, and in that I have found that some kids don't have good insight. And when we see a mental illness, we see good insight and poor insight. Insight is whether they know what they are going through or what they are doing, whether it is needed or not. When this child, he knew that what he is doing is actually not needed, he need not do it, but yet he was forced to do it. So he had a good insight, which is good for us in treatment. How physical generals were: appetite was reduced, thirst was 8 to 10 glasses per day, desire and aversions, I could not get anything specific because, as I told you, a very obedient child. What you like? No, I eat everything, whatever is there, I take, like that. And perspiration, does not sweat easily. A stool was difficult but with urging, takes long time in toilet, washing parts again and again. Urine 5 or 6 times per day, but that itself, each time is to go at least half an hour to 40 minutes. Sleep for 6 to 7 hours sleep, no repetitive dreams. He has to wake up in a certain position. As I told you, he has to follow rituals. Only in a particular way, if he gets up only, he will be able to get up. Otherwise, his mind will tell, lie down, this is not the way. So he is to take at least again half an hour to 45 minutes to get up from the bed. A thermal state, he was a hot patient. Now, change in disposition was noted. That is his behavior before the complaints came, and now his behavior. Like before, he was very social, he was very talkative, he was very restless, and he loved studying. He was never told by his parents. Actually, they told me that we never had to tell him, sit and study or do this. If we tell him anything, he will listen. He was very good boy. And like ideal son, but who turned like this. Now, after his illness started, he became very reserved. He reduced talking to others. He does not want to go to school or study. He had developed a severe inferiority complex, and he became very slow. What are the challenges in case taking? These are the challenges not only in this case, but most of the cases, especially related to pediatric group when I have taken related to mental illness. The biggest challenge is that actually how this patient came to me. You can think that they never knew it was a man. Now what happened is when this boy's mother's brother, he told that might be he's having some problem, might be he's not really lazy and responsible, kindly show him to a doctor. And he would referred my another patient, and he had come to me. So that's how this kid landed to my clinic. Now the challenges we face while taking a case in all pediatric age group, if you see, is that if it is too small a age, it is difficult to get symptoms. Only you have to rely only on parents, what parents say. But if like as he was 14 years old, he is capable enough to talk, but because he was good insight, it was easy for us. The biggest challenge is that making the parents realize that their child has a mental illness and disease called as OCD in this case. But otherwise, in other illnesses, they have a mental illness. That is not doing so to avoid studies or harass them or laziness or irresponsible behavior or spiritual problem. Yeah, you heard me right. Because many a times I have got cases where after a particular point of time, these people take the child to either a priest or a pujari of a different religious, whatever faith they believe in, and telling that the child has got some supernatural problem, and because of it, the child is behaving like that. The problem as well as the difficulty is that kids, they don't have their own rights, especially in India, they're totally dependent on us. So whatever we take decisions we feel is right, is that what we do with them. That becomes a big challenge in case taking too. So kids do so because they were sick, so that I had to make the parents understand actually. Now proper interrogation becomes difficult because of agitation and irritation experienced by parents. Now, these parents, when they come to us, they are frustrated. He is late, so our job is getting. Yeah, it seems true, but it's true that sometimes parents behave very selfishly. They think about their things which is getting affected. They're not thinking that what the child is going through. So they are in agitation, they are irritated, and they are always in a blame mode. They start pointing fingers the moment they enter our clinic on the child. He is doing this, he is doing that, he is like this, he is like that. So minute details takes time to receive from patients as well as relatives. Actually, I usually tell my clinic to set up, at least if I know previously that it is a mental illness, I tell them at least give 45 minutes for the patient. First 15 minutes, I don't get any any case only. It is half of the time just listening to what parents tell, them to calm down, make them relax. Then only the case taking starts. Minute details, then only you get, but it is very difficult to get it. Challenges in getting the physical symptoms. Now, these parents, they are so focused on the mental illness that if you ask me whether he has got any other issue, then they'll tell, no, 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 don't bother about other things. Just say this now. This is more important. Now, they don't understand that homeopathy is based on a holistic concept, and you require everything to a whole body as a body and mind as a unit to prescribe. That's why physical symptoms are very challenging to be got. But when we are treating mental illness, according to homeopathy, we require physical symptoms because those are the one which help us and lead us and guide us. And even in this case, when I had told and the son started telling I'm having hair fall, the father told, shut your mouth. You don't have to tell about all that now. Those things are not important. First you get better, then we will see about your hair. That is a kind of response we get from the parents. Yeah, I know it seems cruel, but it is. Now, classification of disease according to Hahnemann, like where does this particular case fall into mental diseases classification by Hahnemann? It belong to mental diseases type 1, which is from aphorism 216 to 220. Now, the complaint started with a dry cracked skin. It was suppressed, then the complaints were not there, and then mental illness came. So, if I'm relating to two things, that is somatopsychic, that is from the body, corporeal to the mind. Now, totality of symptoms. Now, according to Hahnemann, the symptoms to be considered in somatopsychic cases are all symptoms pertaining to mind and disposition, all symptoms of corporeal diseases. This gives the complete picture of the disease. To this, I have added the change in disposition, which are characteristic here. Now, the aphorisms, if you want to know more about the change in disposition and where did I get it from in Organon of Medicine, then aphorisms focusing on change in disposition is aphorism 690, 210 and 211. But exactly 210 and 211, 210 aphorism, if you see in the footnote, he has given even the details. Hahnemann has explained like how the change of disposition becomes so important in mental illnesses and how it helps in treating the patients. Now, this is my repertorization chart. I'll just read out the symptoms as I've already presented the case in front of you about what symptoms I had taken for repertorization. Mind reserved, work aversion to mental, company aversion to, brooding, anxiety conscience of, anxiety health about, thoughts persistent, thoughts tormenting, talks to himself, religious affections, hair falling. The other symptoms which you can see below: constipation, difficult stool, urging desire frequent, appetite wanting, and cracks, fissures. Now, why or what is OCD or obsessive compulsive disorder? I'm just giving a brief so that you can understand or relate it to my case. Now, it is a mental illness that causes repeated unwanted thoughts or sensations or urge to do something over and over again. I have, whenever we tell about OCD, I have heard many people come and tell that jokingly, I check my door 5 to 6 times, might be I have OCD, or I again go and see whether everything is in right place. I wash my hands frequently, then might be I am having OCD. No, these are all examples. We are doing certain things repetitively. These are examples of compulsions. our behavior. But there you are, it is not that this thought tells you that if you don't do it, something bad is going to happen. In obsessive compulsive disorder, or there is obsession, then there is compulsion. This obsession has to be followed with a compulsion, and if you're not following with the compulsion, the anxiety and the stress increases. So what are obsessions? Obsessions are intrusive, that is uninvited, and unwanted thoughts, images, or urges that occur over and over again and feel outside child's control. Now, these obsessions are unpleasant for the child. That is very important. That is, it's unpleasant for the child and typically cause a lot of anxiety, worry, and distress. The common obsessions, what we usually see, are worrying about germs or getting sick or dying, extreme fears that something wrong or bad will happen, feeling that things have to be just right, disturbing or unwanted thoughts or images of hurting other people, disturbing or unwanted thoughts of sexual nature. So these are the obsession. But I would highlight the point that is, these are unpleasant and they cause anxiety, worry, and distress. Now, what are compulsions? Now, these are so also told as rituals. Now, these are behaviors which child feels he or she must do with the intention of getting rid of upsetting feelings about obsession. So, there is an upsetting feeling. If you have to get rid of this feeling, you have to do it. That's why they repeat it again and again. Now, child believes that by engaging in the compulsion, it will prevent bad things from happening. That is very important. That's why children do it. You have to understand that if you tell a child that something bad is going to happen to his family or to his sister or to his parents, what do you think they will do? They will do it because they don't want their loved ones to suffer. They will take a beating for that, but they will do it. What are the common compulsions which we see? Now, some of this, if you see, even some of us might be having, but we only have compulsions. We don't have, as I told, the unpleasant sensation or obsession which leads to compulsion. Now, common compulsions are excessive checking of door, switches, books, etc. Excessive washing or cleaning, repeated action till things are right or they start over again. Okay, ordering or arranging things, mental compulsion, that is excessive praying or mental reviewing, frequent confessions or apologizing, saying lucky words or numbers, excessive reassurance seeking. So example are like, are you sure I'm going to be okay? That is excessive reassurance they want from us. Now the miasm, the symptoms predominantly are psoric. Few psychotic symptoms are also seen. Now I strongly believe in only one rule. That is, if a drug covers all the symptoms of the case, then it covers the miasm as well. Study of miasm is necessary, but prescription based only on symptom similarity. If the drug matches the symptoms, then I will go for it because I know that it will match the miasm too. What is the diagnostic criteria for OCD? Like if you have to tell it is OCD, what are the hallmark features for it? First, the attempts to control or neutralize the distressing thoughts, urges are not successful. That is most important. We cannot control those thoughts. Now, excessive time is spent in, should be SPENT, in engaging OCD behavior. Now, no pleasure is got from time spent in these activities. There is only a brief relief of anxiety. Now, once they finish doing it and they go for the next thing, they just get a brief relief of anxiety. It's not that they feel totally relaxed. So, if you do the rituals, the next time the number of time mind tells to repeat increases. That's how the severity of OCD, if not proper medicine is not given, increases, because each time the child, suppose this child does it for 5 times or 10 times, then it keep on going till 50 and 100. I have seen cases like that where the patient has been in bathroom taking bath for almost 2 to 3 hours, that the skin used to get affected because of that. Now it causes impairment in social, occupational and interpersonal functioning. So if you see, basically the whole life of the child gets affected because of it. Now, what are the symptoms of OCD which are present in this case to be told as OCD? Now, obsessions, if you see, extreme fear something bad will happen, feeling that things have to be right, frequent thoughts which he has to act upon. Now, compulsions, as I told you, he is to check his books in the classroom. Even after bell rang, he is to take half an hour. Repeated action till the things are right, like bath, toilet, everything was taking time. Arranging things repeatedly. Repeats his name multiple times while studying, reading the same paragraph again and again. Religious rituals, used to start praying from start if disrupted. Now, talking to himself. Excessive reassurance seeking from mother, sister, and doctor. So the treatment plan, if you see, is that if it's a OCD case, there are two parts to the treatment. Of course, we have the most important part, that is the medicine part. But there is another part to it which is equally important, that's called as cognitive behavioral therapy. Now, medicine in this case, you see, Natramune 1M was given to the patient. The potency why 1M was selected, because of course symptom similarity, similarity with change in disposition of the symptoms, and similarity with physical generals, age of the patient, and most important is purely functional disease and not a structural disease. That's why 1M was prescribed. Repetition till the dose got exhausted, the patient stops responding to the medicine and symptoms arise. Till that time, it will not be repeated. Now, to give some pointers on how we should go about in a case of OCD and how we can help other than with medicine, what all pointers we can give for the child and the family. Okay. So the cognitive behavioral therapy. There is a therapy called as ERP, which is exposure and response prevention. Now, the therapy starts by exposing the patient to things which cause anxiety and prevent them from engaging in the compulsion. For example, if the child arranges the shoes, now he comes home from outside, he arranges the shoes. Now, as I told, he'll arrange, then he'll again remove, then again he'll arrange, then. So, it's to take around half an hour to 40 minutes. So, you tell the child to first keep the shoes and you tell him not to again remove and place it again. That is, his response or the compulsion has to be avoided. Okay, so the response has to be prevented. That's why it's called as exposure and response prevention. The whole point is to stay with the anxiety and work through it and avoid compulsion. Because as I told you previously, what usually happens if the child gives in for the compulsion, the number of times the compulsion he has to do the activity increases with time. So to come out of that, he has to break the cycle. Then make the patient understand that it is all in his head. That is very important. Now, children with good insight, this usually works. That is, all the thoughts, anxiety, and the stress created is due to his obsessions are all in his head. So it's not going to happen. Like you tell the child, you kept it once, you don't keep it again. Nothing is bad is going to happen to me or father or the daughter or to anybody in his family. He might feel anxious for some time. Gradually, his anxiety will come down and he will realize, yes, it's true. So, making the child realize it is in his head is very important. Make the patient realize that nothing bad happens if he does not do as his mind says will happen. So, show it to him. Now, I usually tell patients to go with a small count like 2. Like I tell the child, like when I usually tell that don't do it, it becomes very difficult for the child and it becomes difficult for everybody around him. So I tell him, when you keep the first time, you tell your mind you're going to do it only once more. You're going to do it only once more and you're not going to do it any more than that. And this theory usually has worked. So, family support. Now, family support is very vital in such cases. The parents and family of members have to be counseled as well. Actually, I believe the first part is parents and family counseling. Until unless they learn to control their agitation and be relaxed, understand he is sick in the mind, then only they can come, once they come in terms only, then only they will be able to handle the situation better. I usually ask the parents only one thing: what do you expect from your son, or what do you want your son to be? If you want him to reach somewhere in his life, you have to put some efforts from him for him now. Now, they were explained that their son was having mental illness and he is not behaving like that on purpose or to harass them. And they were advised to be more patient, loving, I'm sorry, and provide mental support to him. And they were told to stop comparing their children. That is very important. Sometimes we have to show them mirrors and tell them that this is what the things are going wrong. Praising the daughter in front of the son itself, they were told to appreciate the son. Like each, as I told about the ERP, they were explained about the ERP, and they were told that what all they are supposed to do in the family to help him out, and the first few days are going to be very hard for them. Once you give them the assurance and the confidence, it surely works a long way. They were told to celebrate all his small victories. Like, suppose one thought or one compulsion he avoided, encourage him, pat him, hug him. Very good. You have done so nice. So, that usually helps the child to do better the next time. And that usually helps the child to overcome the compulsions as well. Now, they were told about ERP and advised to help him deal with his compulsions. Now, my experience of treating such cases beyond doubt proves that if you give the similimum, actually the amount of time you put in CBT is also reduced. In when it is to other streams of other fields of medicines, they give so much importance to CBT. CBT or cognitive behavioral therapy is very important. I know, true. It is an initial help till your medicines work or act. But once you get hold of the similimum and you just give it, then the effort to be put for ERP actually reduces, and even you can see the difference fast. Of course, as I told, a good insight in a child is very important. Now, in this case, it just took 1 month for the patient to show improvement. I'm not telling cure, I'm just telling improvement. The words used by patient were, can fight against my own thoughts. Now, I'll just tell the follow-up how it had proceeded. Now, as I told, Natromure 1M 1 dose was prescribed, and of course, SL was prescribed. So, 21 to 2017, SL was PL placebo was given for 1 week. Usually, I don't. First, actually, Natromure was not prescribed. It was prescribed. I'm sorry, it was prescribed on 28. When most of the cases with mental illness they come to me, I usually don't prescribe the first time. And most of the chronic diseases also I don't prescribe the first time, because if there are many diseases or if there are so many things, I really take time, effort, do the repertorization, get the remedy, and then go for prescription. Because if you give the first time, when you are giving it, it has to be right. Otherwise, you will just make a mess. So SL was prescribed for 1 week, and then Natromure 1 week, Natromure 1M 1 dose was given. Now 7/3/17, the child was given again placebo, was given occasionally better, but thoughts still come and he has to act on it. Now CBT was started, severity of compulsion was better. 14th March 17, PL for again 1 week. Patient's own words, he told, can fight against the thoughts. Stool was okay, hair fall reduced, started studying, time of repetition and compulsion reduced, calling of name reduced, talking to self reduced, appetite improved. Now 22nd March, again placebo was given, skin cracked and bleeding seen on toes. Now patient was advised not to apply anything or take any medicines for it. Parents were explained first itself. Usually when Somatopsychic disorders I see, I tell them that the old complaints or bodily complaints are going to pop up. And when it is going to come, please don't do anything or don't give any medicine. Because if you give, it will again go back and his mental symptoms will become worse. Once you explain it to the patient beforehand or to the parents, they usually stick on to what you say. So they were told, they were explained first itself, it will appear and it was suppressed in first place to bring on the mental illness. So this is again the child's writing. If you see, do we need to follow our heart? Then how? My mind says everything to do. Sometimes people won't usually do. So his mind says everything to do, which normally for usually for people it won't say. If it is not done, then negative thought arises. I have heard that following one's mind is the best thing. But for me, when it says me to do things, this and that, I even get fed up of while doing it. So, do we need to do things as we like, or do we both follow mind? Do we both or follow mind only? Is it a problem of everyone? How to take a right decision? So, what are the signs of improvement from the first few writings which I showed you and this writing? If you see here, he starts by telling, my mind says everything to do. So, mind, which was for till now a second person, has now become his own part. So, which usually people don't do. Now, this line shows that now it is his part. If he does not do what his mind says, then negative thoughts arises. Now he was fed up of his compulsions. Patient realizes it is all in his head and wonders whether other have such dilemmas. This is very important. Now he is wondering whether others are also having this kind of thoughts or only he is having, and whether he knows it's in his head. Now 28th March, things were better, skin was better, all complaints were better, and then patient was given medicine weekly for 2 months and then monthly was prescribed, and only placebo was repeated for 5 months. Now 5/8/17, Natromure 1 1 dose was prescribed because the complaints again started showing up. Obsessions which were almost gone had started again. A stool difficult to pass with urging. I'm highlighting only the points because when there was nothing or I've given for 5 months, that time the child was absolutely healthy, both mentally and physically. Obsessions and compulsion were almost to nil. And he had again like started going back to how he was. The parents were very happy actually when this was happening. But when again it came in August, they were a bit worried. But I had told them, usually I tell that this will happen. It's not that it will go all of a suddenly. Between once in a while, it will come. Because we know that when the dose of the medicine gets exhausted, sometimes things may again repeat. So then September 11th, for 1 month, he was given placebo. All complaints were better, both mentally and physically. Now, this time the effect of the medicine lasted only for 2 months. Natromure 1M, it lasted only for 2 months. But before that, for 5 months, the effect was there. Now, in the October, that is 10th October, again all complaints started. So, again Natromure 10M 1 dose was prescribed. Now, the effect of Natromure 10M lasted for 3 months. And between this, when I'm just skipping because now it's difficult to tell that the child was better, was better, so I'm just skipping the months. Now again symptoms started showing up. So when again it started showing up, again Natromure 10M 1 dose was prescribed in 5th December 2017. Now only prescribed placebo for two years. In March, his exams had appeared. Now he was after Natromure 10M 1 dose, he was totally better. So for 2 years, he was going only in placebo. Now in March, his exams had appeared and he had scored 60%. Okay. Now there was a discussion whether he should appear for 9th or start with 10th. Reappear for 9th because he was in the 9th standard. So reappear for 9th or he should start with the 10th standard. So he wanted to go ahead with 10th standard. I asked the child because he was feeling sad that now I've got 60%. I'm working hard, I'm putting effort. If I have to again, I have to sit in 9th standard, my friends all will go again. So then I didn't wanted that to be a trigger for him or again cause the disease to be worse. So I told the parents that go ahead with the what the son desires, because after all it was he was going in for 10th. So he passed 10th exam with 82%. You know, it was a most happiest day both for the parents and for me, because from where we started, coming this distance was not a easy journey for them as well as for us, because we were seeing what the child was going through. Now, 4th December 2019, Natramur 1M 1 dose was prescribed because the complaints became worse once again. A patient had dryness of toes, for which, without consulting me, he applied lactocalamine lotion, I think you know, and some moisturizing cream for 1 month without my knowledge. Now, told to stop external lotions and creams. Now, after that, till now, no complaints as such. The child is much better. So with this about this case, but from before leaving or stopping my session, I would like to tell you a few things about many such cases where I have treated in OCD. Now some of them are in pediatric group and some of them in adults. One of the worst cases which I saw was that um, where a woman with very well-to-do family. Now she owes a lot of business and she had come across with this disease and it was there for quite some time. It was a very challenging case. Now in this, the thing is that she used to get these obsessions and she used to spend almost 2 hours in the bathroom. So in a day, means if she goes for bath, in a day she used to take bath 3 times a day. So she's so much excess about the germs that obsession and compulsion about the germs for her was too much. And if suppose her husband or somebody tells her that don't do or you're not supposed to do it or counsel her, he was not at all violent and all. He was a very nice man, very patient, because they had been suffering with this. She has been suffering with this for disease for very long time. It was very good, very nice, and he just told to her and used to bear with her and just go with whatever I used to tell. He used to do it. The what is the worst thing about this case is that if she was told offended, if she was offended, she used to take a blade and cut her husband. Now, this had happened so many times that there was an aggressiveness in her behavior in which we saw. So, that irritability was very strong in her. And she used to get so angry, and she used to literally throw things and shout. In that case, Naxomika was prescribed and it worked wonderfully for her. The 2 hours time had almost become 15 minutes, and she had recovered a lot from all her complaints. Now, another case I would share in front of you, because it is a mental illness, but it has left such a, because it's a learning for you too. That is, that case, it was about a girl who was a student. Now, her mother was a teacher, and the girl was studying in the same school as the mother was teaching. Mother got transferred. So the mother, what she did is that she took her girl who was studying in 8th standard and forced her and made her to join the other school. That school, a girl who was almost scoring A plus in all the subjects, could not adjust with the new school, new environment, new friends, and she had a very tough time to adjust with the surroundings. That was a moment when, because of this trauma, that she presented complaints. What were the complaints? If you see, she started becoming very joyful, happy, and cheerful, and because of that, she used to sing because of the happiness. The father of this particular child was a homeopathic physician. Yes. And this child was under my treatment for almost 3 to 4 months. The medicine which came and was prescribed was Hyosamus. Now the child recovered beautifully, and the 3 months the number of attacks reduced. But then one fine day they just stopped showing. Because the father was a homeopathic physician, I tried few times to contact, but it didn't happen or didn't work the way we want. Then one fine day, the father turned up in my clinic and he was very sad. Then I asked what happened. They told, no, my daughter, my wife thinks that she is having some supernatural problem. So they are taking her for some puja and some rituals to be done. So that all the astrological problems which have led her to her mental illness will get better. And I told her, it's okay. It's okay, doctor, it's fine. But why are you not continuing the medicine? You have certain beliefs, it's fine. But at least the child can be given medicine. The mother believes that no, it is not good for her. So you have seen the effect, true. But this was one of the learnings which I have seen across in so many years, that especially in children, when some things like this happen, immediately we give the blame to our astrology or through God or to so many other things and start going the other way. It is that's why very important as doctors we keep our mind open and guide the parents as well as the child when they are facing such conditions. So this is my today's case, and don't get me wrong, I have not come up with some homeopathic specifics for OCD, because I normally don't go about like that in any case, because I believe strongly that we have to be an unprejudiced observer, and if I start naming the number of drugs which cover this particular condition, then I might get totally misjudged and misguided. So I usually go with what the child or the person has to say about their complaints or their family and relatives, then go about with the case. So thank you from my side. If any questions, all welcome.